So the racing week starts on Tuesday at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Looking forward to the 10-race card. Should be some good fun out at the country course as we now get towards the summer here in Cape Town. But before we get there, we've obviously got to finish October at Hollywoodbets Durbanville with some good race meetings to come. But I think when we get to the end of October, a lot of tongues will be wagging about the CRS Ready to Run sale, which will be held on the final Sunday of the month at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Of course, the gallops will be 2 days earlier on the Friday. That'll be the 25th of October, racing on Saturday the 26th of October, and then the sale, your last chance to put a little 2-year-old into your string. Buy one and perhaps set yourself up for all sorts of exciting incentives that will be on the horizon. That's how October looks with the number of race meetings at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Don't forget the start of November. We'll be back here on the 2nd of November, that's Saturday, and that will be the first of the feature races to come from Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. So looking forward to welcoming you back here at HQ from the start of November as we build towards the start of the festival, the big summer racing festival, which begins on the 23rd of November with the Cape Punters Cup. That should be a lot of fun. It always is, the old Selangor Cup. And don't forget that the Lomaral Kings Plates have sent out the save the date for Saturday the 4th of January. That's a day that you want to put down into your diaries, and also not forgetting the 5 million rand stake for the World Sports Betting Cape Town Met. That'll be on the final Saturday of January. So it's all happening, and the weather has well and truly turned. The moment this preview is done, this jacket's coming off, and I'm going to be in the floral of spring underneath. Right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this 10-race program. Don't forget that the first race gets underway at 12:10. Interesting card. I wouldn't say it's your typical midweek fare, but there are a few typical midweek races in this card, so hopefully we can find you a few winners. I'm going to kick off with a potential winning bet in race number 1 in the form number 7 Miraculous, trained by Brett Crawford. Louis Otwa takes a ride. Brett was kind enough to chat to us for perfectly placed about all his runners on the card, and he thinks Miraculous will step up. He was pleased with the debut performance behind Beware the Bomb and staying on very nasty, was taking its medicine from a deep draw, dropped in from quite a long way back and made up a lot of ground. It's potentially hard to make up ground at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. She did exactly that, the daughter of Rafif, and going back over the same course and distance with a better draw and with experience, I think that she'll take all the beating. But there are a few very interesting runners in the opener. Number 1, Goodness Gracious Me, is a very well-bred daughter of Give Me the Green Light. Justin Smith cheekily said in an interview that he's got some nice ones running on Tuesday. I suspect this might be one of them. And then over the page, I think the very well-bred number 5, Rahaba, could be interesting. 8, Spin My Angel Spin, galloped to the Hollywoodbets Durbanville Gallops nearly a month ago, and she put up a very nice gallop. The horse that she galloped with ran 4th from the Gareth Van Zyl yard on Saturday. So maybe number 8, Spin My Angel Spin, represents a little bit of top 4 value. 10, Back of the George, wouldn't be a shock winner, and the well-bred 11, One Hell of a Party. The comments aren't all that positive, but does strike genetically. But number 7, Miraculous, we're going to go in with her to win race number 1 before the exotics get underway at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. On we go now to race number 2, the start of the bipot taking the reins. Maiden plate of a 1250 meters, runs at 1:15. I think this is a hot maiden indeed, because I think they're winning chances from number 4, A Freak, 5, Honor of Kings, very well bred, 7, Green Garnet, might need the run, but there's something to like about him, and Aristotle, number 9 on the card, all horses that I think bring in winning chances. So how do we read it? Well, we'll have a look at my bipot at the end of discussing this race, but I think number 4, A Freak, could be the most interesting runner in the race. Louis Otwa takes a ride for Brett Crawford. I like the form that he brings in behind Empire State. Empire State, I think, is a horse that's well above average. And we know that the Crawford way is not to ready them up first time. He plays the long game. He plays for the bigger picture. So you can expect a lot of improvement to come from number 4, Afrique, who's a true Normandy stud pedigree, true blue blood there. And the 4th to Empire State, I thought was pleasing. Hit the front maybe a little bit too early, maybe earlier than desired. Horses falling back onto him. Had no choice but to be exposed. But I think that he'll come on with a run under the belt. But that's not to say that he's the only winning chance here. 5, Honor of Kings, is a half-brother to Princess Color, champion horse from 2 seasons ago. Obviously, she made her North American debut over the weekend and will come on, I'm sure, with the run under the belt. Running 5 lengths to 2020 vision. Was it all that bad? Because he came out and subsequently won. We heard from Eric Sands on Perfectly Placed about the story of number 7, Green Garnet. He also gallops at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, the breakfast gallops nearly a month ago. And Aristotle, fitness to be taken on trust. I personally don't think he can win a 1250, but I do think he's a horse to follow going forward. When he goes a mile, I think that he could turn out to be very good value for money. So let's see how he goes. I've got numbers 4 and 9 in the first leg of the bipot, Afrique and Aristotle. I'm going to tend to think that those two can fight it out. But banker 10 in the second leg, by 1, 2, 7, 8. By banker 3, race 6, which is leg 5, I've gone field 11 runners. I can't split them. I'm going to be absolutely no help there. And the final leg of the bipod, gone numbers 7 and 8. Race number 3 kicks off the place accumulator. Cape Turf Club Open Maiden for fillies and mares over 1,250 metres here. And I'm going with number 10, Pink Pigeon. If I'm right, Brett Crawford could have a very good start to the day with Lubin Otwa in the irons. The draw's not great, but I think the step up in distance is key here. There's a lot of stamina in the family. The debut to Be Merry was a good one, although well beaten by Be Merry. Finished in front of Alicia Asherville and Sweet Nothings, who she reopposes. You'd expect her to stay in front of those horses. And I just don't think it's a particularly strong maiden here. 7 Englefield Green would not be a surprise winner, especially if the Beware the Bomb form was ranked earlier on in the day in race number 1, where we've gone with Miraculous. But I'm not too sure how all that stacks up. Number 4, Oktoberfest, also very well bred. Aldo de Meyer takes the ride, but I'd like to see a little bit more. I'd like to see her step up. She might have just needed her last run when coming back from a 3-month layoff, but I don't know if those form lines are going to quite be good enough to overturn number 10, Pink Pigeon, who was, as mentioned, beaten by Be Merry. Be Merry looked an absolute Monty on that occasion when Craig Zaki picked up the ride, and I think that this daughter of Quirari will come on. And I don't think she'll miss the first 3 for PA purposes, and obviously I've bankered her in the bipod. So let's go with number 10, Pink Pigeon. Going to make her a win bet in race number 3, the start of the place accumulator. Race 4 starts the pick 6 at 5 to 2. Join the celebration. Cape Turf Club.co.za Open Maiden over 1,250 metres. Now, I think this is actually quite an interesting race. There's a field of 10, and I think there are a few improvers here. And a first timer that I got to meet at Gareth Van Zell's yard a few months ago. The lovely horse. Maybe I just like him because I have some sort of allegiance to him. Just the fact that he's a nice, friendly horse in the form of Father Christmas. But I can't tip him because I think he's going to have to be fairly good to turn over this field. So where are we going to go? 7 Spectacular and 8 Golden Destiny. Golden Destiny, potentially the most interesting runner in the race. Craig Zaki takes the ride for Dean Caname. There was talk and money for him last time out when finishing 6 1/4 lengths behind Legal Counsel. However, that was his first run in 6 months. He needed it. Second of all, he was unlucky because around the turn he was wide, he was bumped a few times, and he was just knocked off his feet. Now, if you consider that as a 2-year-old, an early 2-year-old form, you can always take with a pinch of salt, but not on this occasion, because if you run 8 lengths to 1 stripe, okay, 8 lengths to 1 stripe is fair, but not something that'll turn heads. But second start in the Good Hope Nursery, finished 4 1/4 lengths to 1 stripe, running 7th with a whole lot of very, very promising at the time 2-year-olds around him. So with the run under the belt, well-bred son of Rafif, related to a whole lot of well-performed horses up in Joburg, I think number 8, Golden Destiny, could be the one that they all need to peg back here. I think he went to Durban. In fact, I know he went to Durban because Dean Caname told us as much when we went and visited him for Perfectly Placed a few meetings ago. And the fact that he had the sun on his back, had a gallop or two, and really just blew off the cobwebs there, I think will stand him in good stead. Now, number 7, Spectacular, I Make the Danger. Dennis Schwarz is in town to take the ride for Glenn Cotson with an elaborate bunch of owners. For the 7 lengths to Commanding on debut at Hollywoodbets Scottsville, has got all the scope to progress. I thought it was a fair run actually, and ran into a little bit of trouble. If he doesn't need the run too badly, he could be dangerous. First run is a gelding. I think he'll come on over further being out of a byword mare. But what I'm going to recommend is boxed swingers 7 and 8. If they run 2nd and 3rd, that's good enough for me, because I think number 3, Native Ruler, has any amount of improvement to come out of a stakes winning mare, Pine Princess, and a few others here that make appeal. Number 1, Unsung Hero to draw 1's also got to be a big chance. But 7 and 8 box swingers, race number 4. Hopefully that's the office for us in the start of the pick 6. Race 5, Race Cape powered by Hollywoodbets Open Maiden for fillies and mares over 1,600 metres. As opposed to the earlier maidens, this looks a little bit weaker. So number 3, Kamchatka. Andre Null had a bit of a frustrating day at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday, but hopefully it all comes to hand on Tuesday. Corne Orfa takes the ride. The fact that she's unexposed and at least brings some relatively good numbers into the picture, I think stands her in good stead. I thought last time out she was a little bit too keen, probably her own worst enemy when running 4th to My Sensation. She steps up in distance. That will remain a bit of a query because her running style does lend itself to being a little bit fierce, but she just brings better form, better numbers and better form lines into the picture than anyone else in this race. So I make her a win bet. I make her close to an exotic banker as well in the second leg of the pick 6 and the first leg of jackpot 1, certainly in the PA and bipot. Number 3, Kamchatka, out of a reasonable draw. The fact that she could be going places a lot further than anyone else in this field. She stands out in race number 5. If she settles, it's simple. I think she wins. Race number 6, celebrating Centurion member Alec Foster's birthday, Class 3 over 1,600 metres. Alec Foster, of course, part of the husband and wife combination that owned Bulgarian to win the 2020 Hollywoodbets Durbanville. At a masterstroke by Justin Snaith, getting that horse in off the right weight. Now, this race I find extremely tough, but tough for the right reasons. There are lots of good chances. I won't field in my bipod, as you have already noticed as far as this preview is concerned. Which way are we going to go? I've got an not allegiance, but I've got an inkling that one of the crowd favourites here in Cape Town, number 3, Tyrion Lannister, is going to run a big race. Corne Orford takes her out for Pete Buerta. The heart, soul, the effort that he puts in, the son of Royal Mo, has really lent itself to him becoming a bit of a crowd favourite here in the Western Cape. The fact that he puts everything out there, he runs honestly more often than not. In fact, you can tell the bad run was the exception rather than the norm. His penultimate start over 1,000 metres, he had no right to run like that against those horses. Finishing third to Captain Arrow, looked dangerous much of the way. Better sprinters just beat him, and then followed that up running a length and a half behind Oliver, which was just another excellent heart and soul run. So you know what you're going to get. He is what he is. He's likely to be somewhere in the mix. Number 3, Tyrion Lannister. Now, the interesting dynamic to this race is what happened on the 10th of September when Pardenom finished in front of Fibonacci, Future Turn, and Infrared. I think Infrared's better than that, by the way, but Fibonacci is weighted to turn that form around with Pardenom. What else might count in Fibonacci's favour is that he's just been taken back after that run, whereas Pardenom came back into the Settlers Trophy after that. I don't know if he quite stayed on that occasion, so you can ignore that. He's got draw 1 and he's back over a better distance, but I think number 2, Fibonacci, will come right with that weight turnaround and finish in front of number 1, Pardenom. So what I'm going to do here and what I'm going to recommend is box quartets 2 and 3 by the field. Hope that both of them get into the top 4 and hope that we can get some sort of roughie running into the top 4 as well. It's hard to put a pen through any of these. As mentioned, I think number 5, Infrared, will run better. I think the stable companion number 7, Blue Bay's got wins to come in the coming months. 8, Sail to the Moons, are definitely an above average horse. And then number 9, Lightning Glow, coming back from a layoff of 190 days, went down to KZN, won when Richard Ferree produced some magic on him at Hollywoodbets Scottsville. Let's see how he goes on his first run after a break, because he could also be seriously progressive. Very, very interesting and tricky race, the 6th on the card. Race number 7, Cape Turf Club Syndicates, Class 5 over 1,800 metres. Now, what a lot of people do in these races, they look for maidens, and there's only one maiden here. It's number 7, Golden Grey. Sean Veal takes the ride for Vaughan Marshall. This is the start of jackpot number 2. Now, this maiden reopposes Ozark. They met 17 days before this race meeting on the 21st of September, and according to the weights, Golden Grey should finish in front of Ozark. Now, Ozark obviously had Rachel Veniker's 1.5 kilo claim on that occasion. That came in very handy indeed. Now got Richard Ferree on board. That's going to come in very handy indeed. But pure mathematics of it all, 3 kilos for a half a length in favour of Golden Grey. I think he's going to get it right. He's been frustrating to follow. He's conspired to be his own worst enemy. He's found trouble in races. He hasn't quickened. He's had all sorts of things go wrong as number 7, Golden Grey. But I think now he's kind of got to where he needs to, mentally, physically, and also his form is backing that up. So I think number 7, Golden Grey, has his best opportunity to win a race coming up in race number 7. I'm going to recommend box swingers 7 and 8 with number 8, Ozark, as valuable backup. Paul Reeves with a wonderful day at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday. Yards in good form, so we can take that to the well. And I think number 3, Flight Display, also has a good chance of running into the money. Pete Buerta certainly thinks so as well. Race 8, Reeves Racing Syndicate, Class 4 over 1,400 metres. They're everywhere, Paul Reeves, at the moment. And this is a nice race over 1,400 metres. Be interesting to see how the young 3-year-old, number 3, Sail the Seas, goes in this race, because I think there's something about him. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean towards number 5, Kariaku, as the horse to beat. Eric Sands' horses, whether they're coming from a break, making their debut, or winning on Saturday, we're all in very, very good nick indeed. You can tell that Eric's got his yard in good harmony. and Atandiwe Ngudwa brought the winner for the yard. Bagatelle flashed to victory and hit the crossbar a few times with a number of other horses. Now, the rerun that we're going to have a look at is very important. Look where this horse came from, number 5, Kariaku. On the back of a break, he came from nowhere. He was hard up on the outside. He did some low-level flying, did a 400 to finish in 23.6 under Sianda Sosibo, who's recently left the academy. He's down in class. As a result, he obviously gets a little bit more weight to carry. What can you do about that? But this is the direction they've taken. And that last run to me was just too good to turn down, too good to ignore. He caught the eye. A few strides past the post. He was in front of Aspect. He's got an unbelievable run of form. And I think number 5, Kariaku, who's not missed the first 4 at Hollywoodbets Durbanville in 6 starts, I think he will win, because we got a few horses here that are question marks over the trip. How will Winter Pearl go, stepping up in distance for the first time in a while? How will Lunch Money go over 1400 meters, although staying on nasty over this trip last time? Peter Bott, I think this will be too short for him. Kolima, I think this will be too short for him. So with all those queries about some of his rivals, 5 Kariaku for me, the most solid selection in race number 8. The 9th and penultimate race gets underway at 4:45. Perfectly placed Cape D Stakes over 1,000 meters. This isn't easy, so what I've done is I'm going to lean towards numbers 1 and 8 as my top 2 selections. Electric Fields moved up strongly last time out and a great finish, beaten 3 parts of a length by Easy Money. Draw 1's going to help her, of course. She's got a nice lightweight. She's got blinkers on. If they bring her on at all, just the slightest little bit of improvement for number 1, Electric Fields, I think that she'll be a tough nut to crack out of the in-for Michelle Rick's Harold Crawford yard. Probably found the right type of race for her to get going. She was made a reserve runner at a recent meeting when the fields were splitting at the seams, and now I think they probably ended up in the right time and the right place from the right draw under a jockey that gets on very well with her. Her biggest danger for me comes up in the form of number 8, Nile the Boss, Louis Otwa, Pete Buerta. When they team up, your ears have got a prick. They were, during COVID, a formidable combination. Obviously, Louis got on to the bright lights of Brett Crawford and doing a wonderful job there. But number 8, Nile the Boss, is just banging at the door, beaten by a maiden last time out in the form of Istrio, but at this level, and she'll have every chance of running yet another honest race with a little bit of luck from the draw. She could very easily go in. So I think they're the only 2 horses in the race. I'm going to recommend boxed exactas numbers 1 and 8 in race number 9. 10th and last, Hollywoodbets Bright Future Class 4 over 1,000 meters. We'll be out of there at 20 past 5. Small field, very, very interesting race here. I think the best horse in the race, pound for pound, is number 3, Elusive Winter. But we know that he's been sparingly raced, that he obviously picks his spots. But I think he runs well fresh. Gareth Wright takes a ride for Michelle Ricks and Harold Crawford. I'm going to put him up on simply his best form in the opposition that he's run to. He's come down from a 93 to a 79. That's obviously due to the fact that he's had some long gaps between his races, but the fact that he's got to 3.5 lengths of tough terrain, the fact that he's run to the likes of Dance Variety, who's a number of divisions better than this, and also King of the Gauls, who's now a stakes winner. I think number 4, Elusive Winter, if he's fit enough, he'll run well enough. Now, what are the other dangers? Because there are plenty of them. Pete Buerta's got 2 very interesting runners on Perfectly Placed. He was leaning towards number 1, Swift Action, over number 7, Shifting Path, but he wasn't exactly decisive about that. But his opinion is that number 1 will finish in front of 7. I think number 4, The Mask, is upwardly mobile, ran in a feature race at Hollywoodbets Greyville during the Champions season, finishing 4 lengths to Great Plains. That run's going to set him up nicely enough to be dangerous here. 5, Major Apollo, although not the most consistent around, he could blow a field like this away. And then number 8, Bluff on Bluff, just seriously consistent and gets the services of Richard Furey. When Richard rides the son of Oratorio, he gets a tune out of him. So tricky race. I'm going to go each way. I'm going to take advantage of the small field. So even if Elusive Winter runs 3rd, we can get a place return. Hopefully it's more than 2 rand. Number 3, Elusive Winter, in each way play in the finale, which will be the last leg of jackpot number 2. So that's a wrap. Enjoy yourselves this week. We have plenty going on all across the country. We'll be back at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on Saturday afternoon, so looking forward to all of that action. As for Tuesday, start of the week, as mentioned, 10 races on the card. Hopefully it's a winning, successful and memorable day out of the country course. And if you're in town and you've got not much to do, come and join us. It won't be as hot as Saturday. I believe that's the good news. The umbrellas will be out, the food and the drinks will be flowing, so hopefully you can come and have a wonderful day with us and back some winners.